All right, I need to call my buddy Nick. I got those voices in my head again. I need some support here. Let me see if I can get him on the line.
Oh,
Nick.
hi. Hey, what's up? I was just waking up sniffing vintage pickups in the morning. No big deal. Hey, let me put this down. What's going on, man? What can I help you
Dude,
with?
I need help. I need help.
Oh,
I got those voices in my head talking to me again. And honestly,
I know those voices well.
I, I need you to talk me out of it. I know I can count on you.
All right, lay it on me, man.
We had that
What is
dis-
pulling at your gas strings at the moment?
dude.
What has lit the fires
We had that
underneath you?
discussion a while ago, and you said to me that I can call you anytime I need help. So this is one of those times. Um, I was surfing YouTube like I love to do, and I stumbled on this player that I didn't really know from a hole in the wall. Jared
Hmm.
James Nichols is his name. Now I don't know if you know this
Oh,
guy.
yeah.
Okay, well I didn't know this guy previously, and but he's a great player, right? He's got good charisma. Seems like a good guy. You know, he's got that Ted Nugent kind of look going,
And
and
it's all fingers, no pick. I think
yeah,
everything is just
that's
digging
the
in
guy
finger style
exactly.
stuff.
And the guy knocked my socks off in terms of his tone, right? So, of course, I wanted to see what he was playing. So I watched a few more videos. Lo and behold, I discover he's playing his own signature series amp, right? It's called the JJN-20. So it's a Blackstar, and
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of Blackstar amps. But when I heard his tones, I'm like, man, that sounds good. So I started watching a couple more videos, and I figured, sometimes one video sounds really good, another one not so much, but they all sounded great. And so I did a little bit more research on this amplifier. Big mistake. And I found out I found out that they're releasing a combo version. He plays the head with a 212
Hmm.
cabinet, but they just released a combo version of this amp, which is
Yep.
small form factor, 20 watts, and a nice little combo package. Dude, I want to buy this thing.
All right, I'm aware of the amp. I was just watching. It's a really good rig rundown out there, and he does a really good demo. I think of the amp at least for Sweetwater, and the dude's tone is just evil. I want to talk about his guitar too, but we'll talk about that afterwards. These things are always
Don't get
dangerous
me
to talk
started on
about.
that. Don't get me started on that guitar, dude, because I've been eyeing that one too.
It's his old glory. Just for a quick thing, is a Les Paul custom from Epiphone, all black with a single dog ear P90 and a wraparound bridge with a custom made thing where the stop tail would be, single volume, single tone, and he just beats the snot out of it.
it,
He
it
really
it
really
really
goes nutty
sounds
with it.
glorious in his hands, and I love P90s.
So
So it's like
I
that's
think
another
the amp is
dangerous
what,
combo.
$900 for the combo, US, which is a pretty good price, and it's Blackstar, so I know that it's basically a two-channel amp. But then you could switch voices on each channel, I think, to get more American or Britishy,
Yeah,
and really kind of pushes over the top.
that's the one.
Uh, so so first, before we go further, would this be a net new, or would this be replacing something in your collection thing? So would something be sacrificed to the gods to then bring it in?
Okay, I'm gonna justify it. Okay, um, I already sold an amplifier. I sold my Blues Junior. Now, to be
Okay.
totally honest and transparent with you, I did, however, bring in another amplifier after I sold that one. That was my Bass Breaker 15. So, but the Bass Breaker 15 is ahead, right? So
Hmm.
to justify this in my mind, I'm justifying it by saying I currently don't have a combo except for my Fender Supersonic, which is a very heavy. Well, it's bigger and hard to get to gigs with, and it doesn't.
Bigger, louder.
Yeah, and it doesn't have that Marshall-y thing. Whereas
Yep.
this one is definitely has that Marshall-y thing. I mean, it has to me it has that Bad Company tone, you know, that that
Yep.
and that's the sound I really like. So, um, yeah. So to answer your
So
question, to,
yep. Go for it. Go for
to
it.
answer your question, the answer really is no. It's not really. Uh, there's nothing going out at the moment, but there may be. the bass breaker might be something that I'd be willing to part with if this amp sounds as good as I think it will.
Well, because, and I think that makes sense, right? Because it's 20 watts, a little more power. The bass breaker is really Fender trying to be the best of both worlds, where to have like a blackface sort of clean, a deluxe sort of clean,
Yeah.
and then something leaning British towards with the drive, or at least kind of splitting the difference in the middle. And this would probably do that. The tones are really cool. The things that I don't like about it, first, you can't find them used yet. I'm cheap. You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
And so you're gonna buy it, and it's $180
Yeah.
or so US that you're gonna write off in value
Right.
as soon as you get the thing in from wherever you get it from. Now, because it's new, you may be able to get it from Long and McQuaid or somewhere that has a really good return policy too. So if you have buyer's remorse, or if it doesn't light you up, hopefully you can return it with no harm, no foul. But that's the first thing that when I look at something like that is, could I wait a year?
So,
or 6 months or whatever?
So let me just answer that question, because apparently I did some research and I called my local shop. These are limited editions. So he was telling me there's 20 in Canada. And at the time I called him, which was basically, I think the day after it was released, he's like, there's probably 2 left right now. So
so that's if you want to do it, you got to get on it now.
You got to get on it. Yeah. And that's one.
The other big issue with it for me is it's a top knobber.
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge top knob combo fan.
Okay.
For 2 reasons, right? On stage, right? Whenever you're jamming or whatever, just to be able to look back and quickly know where you're at on something. I like to be able to see them. And second, for the home setup, it limits amp organization for how are you going to maximize your space by putting a head on top of a combo.
You can't stack it.
Thing and hide it in there. Right? You can't see it, so you're stuck with what it's set to, or you're moving stuff around.
That's true.
Those are the 2 negatives for me, the biggest ones there. Other options to look at, it doesn't solve the combo thing, but like the Mark Tremonti MT15 from PRS, which I was just noodling with earlier. That amp is great because once it's a similar situation, kind of like the bass breaker, but more successful. It's got a very Fendery clean, straightforward deluxe, but super Marshall, distortion all the way up, but not like just full on crazy metal, like all the stuff in between. But it's a head, it's not a combo, and your rationalization is very wonderful about putting it into a combo.
Yeah, so the thing for me, the fact that it was replacing, somewhat replacing my Blues Junior, that I actually spent a lot of time modding to try and get a better sound out of it. That was a top knobber too, right? So it's actually smaller than my modified Blues Junior, because I actually put a 212 cabinet in. I modified it.
Gotcha.
So it's actually technically smaller than that. It is still a top knobber, but to me, I don't really mind that. The big advantage over an amp like that is that this amp really does have all of the ins and outs. Like, it does have an effects loop. It does have, even a USB out that you can go right into your recording gear, a balanced out. It's got like a lot of cool features in the back of it that the Blues Junior doesn't have. So that is like super convenient for me in terms of being able to, even the foot switching. So it's got, like, the Blues Junior is 1 channel. That's it. Where this one, it does have a few different tricks up its sleeve in terms of the channel switching, and the cleans sound really good, man. I gotta say, like, to me, cleans are probably more important than the dirt, because you can always make an amp sound dirty with pedals, but if it doesn't have that clean sparkle, you're out of luck, So it's hard to get one that actually sounds good in both scenarios, and this one actually. Like, it really is like the Swiss Army knife of combos that I've seen. I've looked at a lot because I've always had that itch. And
well, like a deluxe, one of the deluxe reissues are great amps.
Yeah,
but it's still so Fender.
It
You
is.
can't get around the fact that it is a Fender interpretation of all these tones.
Yeah.
Brutal, amazing, standard stuff. But if you want Britishy, that's kind of the way to go. I'll share a thing. I just to dissuade you from that, I lusted after this amp for a long time. This is the Brent Hines Micro Terror, and everyone, or Mini Terror, or Terror, just a Terror.
Sounds
it's
nice.
Perfectly adequate Terror.
Sure.
And I went back with this, and I was like, I really want to get this. It's foot switchable. It's really cool. It's really that. I like the tones in the videos, and then I got it. Just
I know what you're saying. I've had that feeling many times. So
and so much of that dude's tone when he's demoing his stuff,
yeah,
is his thing. I mean, he digs in hugely deep,
yes.
and he's playing with a P90, so it's a very specific type of assault with his what blues power, I think he calls his tone that he goes for.
Absolutely. And that goes, you know, probably for this amp as well. There's certain things that you can't really tell on a video, like, you know, okay, the clean channel is, you know, obviously very important to me, but it's also like, you know, how does it take pedals? Does it, you know, some amps, some combos are very finicky with pedals, and they just like pedals that you love don't sound good with that particular amplifier anymore. So then you're chasing your tail with the effects, you know, and that kind of thing. But the thing that was really cool from what I saw, at least initially from the demos, is that, you know, the clean and the drive sound so good that you might not even need pedals with this one, you know.
Well, and you have the voicing too, right? So you can kind of get to different types of cleans and drive channels, overdrive, without having to mess with it.
The one that he's playing is the head and 212 cabinet. That one sounds killer. But this one is like a small combo, 112, racing green, has you know, basket weave grill, grab and go little amplifier. I'll put a picture of it on the screen. So I have a lot of heads and cabinet in back of me. I have, you know, a 112 cabinet, a 212 cabinet, a 412 cabinet, and I like the heads as opposed to the combo because I can just take the head and go. If there's a cabinet that happens to be in the rehearsal studio, it's easier for me to do that. But sometimes when there's no cabinets in the rehearsal studio, then, you know, you're kind of stuck with a combo like this. It's really small. It's basically, I'd say, similar to the size of a Blues Junior, maybe a little bit bigger. So it's an easy grab and go amp, you know. And so I don't have that.
That makes a lot of sense, and it's also for a signature tone. You're getting it kind of as he wanted to go after it, right? Those things have been matched to it, and that's it. I have got a couple of. I'm actually lucky because I've got a vintage 30 1x12 and then a greenback 1x12. So between the two of them, I can usually get a lot, and sometimes I'll run both of them. But there's some things that like really want to a G12, the 75 watt Marshall things are supposed to sound great, or a 412 or whatever, and you want to. There is a magic in having the right cabinet and amp and speaker.
Yep.
To certain combinations, especially with this where it's been kind of tuned for him.
For me,
man, that's a tough decision.
Just getting a combo that you're able to like get that Marshall sound, and it's not a Marshall. Like I said, the only thing that is kind of swaying me from making this impulsive decision and buying it like sight unseen is the fact that I in the past I've never really liked Blackstar enough to buy one. They've always gotten close, but never like the artist series that they had some combos sounded really good, more of a vintagey sound, but it always had like something about it that wasn't the complete package. But I think with this version, because it's using ECC 83 tubes and a combination of EL 84s, you do have the best of both worlds. And I think that Jared, like, he's a gigging guy. He's like a guy that's, you know, his meat and potatoes is playing live. And I think he voiced the amplifier to be able to do what he needs to do, even without any pedals, like just straight out of the box. So it could be...
And it's by stepping. It's not by knob turning, too. It's by having 3 or 4 different ways of that, using the voice versus the channel, and really just step and go. Single pickup guitar. I think I saw one of his things, too. Like, he travels, his rig is one of the simplest rig rundowns ever. He's like, I got this thing, he's got a couple of pedals, he's got the amp, and that's basically it. But he also traveled with, he's the type of dude that travels with one guitar, I think, for 300 dates last year.
Yeah, exactly.
Single guitar,
bare
no
bones.
backup, no whatever, Epiphone, Les Paul Custom, and that's all he played. And now he has a backup. Now, unlike most people, his backup is a red 53 former Gold Top Refin Les Paul.
I saw it. It looks sweet. It looks sweet. Yeah. So that's one of the things that he said also in one of the videos is that, you know, he needed something that wasn't going to fail on him, and he's been using that particular amp combo on all his gigs, and he is a hardworking gigging musician. So I'm hoping that will, you know, be the case with the quality control on the amplifiers, and hopefully they won't break down on me. But needless to say, Nick, what do I do, man? I don't know what to do.
Dude, it's a hard one. You got to ask me. So my advice is get it, but get it from somewhere that's got a 30 or 45-day return policy.
That's good advice.
Right? And that's the thing. If you haven't played it, if it's not a commodity thing, it's a new thing, that kind of stuff, go there, play it, and then you can stare at it every day, and it's got to earn its weight, or it's going back.
That's true.
Not paying the bills.
Absolutely.
That's what I would do. I think for this, because there's a lot of unknown about it. It's different. If you were coming to me and say, hey, I really want to buy a Princeton reverb, there's only really one Princeton reverb that does everything in a way a Princeton reverb does. We all know what it is. It's a known quantity. You can kind of do it, where this is a little bit different. And then, depending on the scumbag corner of it, while you're playing with it for the 30 or 45 days, you can watch the used market.
That's true. That's true.
Not the nicest way to your local music retailer, let's be honest. But if it's Guitar Center, don't feel guilty about it. I didn't say that out loud at all.
Look, at the end of the day, I'm not too worried about what happens if I don't like it. I know I could probably get rid of it for, even if I have to sell it at a loss, it probably wouldn't be a big loss because it is a limited edition and they're probably harder to get in some places. So that's fine. The concern I have is that because it is a limited edition and not a lot of people can actually get one, that it might actually deter from the popularity of the amplifier, because if there's not a lot of them out there, people are like, I can't get one anyway, so they're not even looking for them. You know what I mean? So there could be that aspect, but I'm not really worried about that. I'm not.
No, the good thing is he's got a head that will probably sell in more numbers, and it's the same thing in a different, he's just driving ahead and he's driving an extra cab with it too, which at least gives some spillover. We're content people, right, folks? Here's behind the curtains, inside baseball. You need to make sure there's some contentability out of it as well. It helps to make a decision. It helps to rationalize. It may not actually make more content out of it, but it may rationalize a decision a little bit easier.
That's true.
All the time with me, and that way there's still heads available. It's the same basic thing, and it's the same search criteria when you look it up. And it shows up as a suggestion.
So the only issue now is that I am stuck with buying something sight unseen because the local stores don't have them yet, and so it would have to be like a spur of the moment decision to be able to get one before they're all sold out. Otherwise, I'm going to be scratching my my head trying to find one on the used market, and they probably won't pop up right away. So so I got some thinking to do, man, but I appreciate your advice. I think you brought up some excellent points, and I'll definitely sleep on it, but not for very long. I'm going to have to make a decision probably by tomorrow.
Anytime, except now I'm just going back and looking at that Les Paul that he had.
Me too.
Jonesing after that thing. Oh, what a ripper.
Dude, wouldn't it be fantastic if Harley Benton came out with a version like that?
They did. You know who offers one like that is Precision Guitar Kits.
Oh yeah.
They have they're really accurate Les Paul shape, great necks, great everything. They're really sort of expensive, like $800 or $900 or maybe $700 US for one of their Les Paul proper kits. But when you get down to now single pickup, that kind of stuff, it's still like a $500 kit, but you're only buying one pickup. You're only buying two pots.
Right.
The wiring is really quite simple with a wraparound bridge on it, but with that kind of adornment. Might be pretty damn cool to do.
It could be, but
I need another project like a home had.
Yeah, but honestly, even the Harley Bentons, like they have the P90 guitars with two humbuckers, right? So how difficult would it be to just spec out same thing with one humbucker, and just
and there's a lot of the Chinese brands. 3 or 4 years ago, a lot of your Grote and I think Grote had it. I think Bad Cat might have done it. Bad Cat, if you're gonna look at a Bad Cat guitar from China, not the amp, only buy from Amazon. They kind of have some shipping irregularities. At least with Amazon, you're getting it with Prime. You've got returnability if there's an issue. No harm, no foul.
Good advice, yeah, for sure.
But they've got those. The other thing you can do is you could do the Phil X style thing that he does, which is yank the neck pickup, put an action figure in there, and then put like a fat cat in the bridge and call it a day.
True. Hey, if you're willing to do a kit, you're probably better off just buying a Harley Benton with P90s. Getting some Bondo, filling in that cavity, refinishing it, and you're good to go.
I think it's a smart way to do it, man.
It's another.
Good. And if you're not great at refinishing, then you add a racing stripe down the middle, which covers up most of the sins that you have right there, the sins of the past.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. Hey, man, there's a lot of things to think about. I don't want to get another itch before I get to resolve this one. So stop. Don't say anything else.
All right, Tony.
Dude,
Good luck. Let me know what you end up doing.
I appreciate it.
I'll comments down below on Tony's video.
Yeah.
You know, should Tony do it or not? You know, give him that push when you show up and watch a demo of it. You know,
any advice?
Things are what'll help spin the wheels.
Any advice from the viewers will definitely be appreciated. So yeah, I'll definitely keep you guys posted on what happens. You'll definitely know soon. So thanks, Nick. I really appreciate it.
Anytime.
Okay.
Thanks, Tony, for having me on.
Take it easy.